Hello and welcome to Catherine's Garden. It's so good to be here with you today. I hope all is well with you. Yes, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I am in the Northeast Zone 6 in the city of Boston. This morning, tucked over here in the garden, or this beautiful daylily. It's this beautiful daylily. I'm gonna just pluck this net here. And this is a pumpkin vine that is just weaving itself through the garden. Isn't that beautiful? And then over here you can see the buddleia, and the bees are on. Look at that. On the bee balm. That's why they call it bee balm. There's the buddleia. But this is so beautiful. I celebrate it because it is only here for a day, and before you know it, it's gone. I purchased these daylilies from Roberta's Garden, and they are the 300 series flower powered daylilies, Hemerocallis hybrids. The piece de resistance. You won't believe the flower power of these reblooming fragrant daylilies. They are durable, disease resistant, drought tolerant, and heat and humidity loving. They are great for garden borders and making fresh cut flowers. They attract butterflies and hummingbirds. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to add them to the garden. Plus, they're much more delicate and exciting compared to the ordinary daylilies that I have already in my garden, which I call ditch lilies. These are exquisite. Plants can take intense sun on the flowers and the leaves, and these plants have extended bloom time versus normal daylilies. Some just keep going for several months without a rest. Others will get new flush of flowering all summer after just short periods of rest. So I'm hoping that this is true, that the flowers will fan out with numerous blossoms on each stem, and that they will become big, bold, and bright as the years progress. But this one is definitely a beauty. I'm just so excited about these daylilies. Now today, 2 of the daylilies opened up in this planting. Isn't that pretty? And here I planted a Stargazer lily, but it is small, and it seems like whatever was ailing the other one is ailing this one as well. Now in another part of the garden, here is another one of those daylilies. So pretty. I also have a Stargazer lily here. But I truly love this daylily. And I just wanted to share with you my Casablanca lilies that I planted about 6 or 7 years ago. Well, my other lilies are open now. I believe that the one on the far position right over there, that is a cousin to the Casablanca lily. But these here are Casablanca lilies. And they are not, I don't know what happened. Usually they come out big and bold. But this year their flowers are very small and dainty. I don't know what happened. But here they are. And they're still beautiful. I'm still happy about them. But they're not as big and voluptuous as they usually are this year. Anyway, but I did have a selection from Costco that bloomed earlier, and they were absolutely beautiful. So I'm happy still for the second wave of lilies, Casablanca lilies. And also here you can see my impatiens, the purple perella, but also the dahlias are starting to open. The blooms are coming forth. There was something that was eating the leaves here, but I think that the plants have toughened up. What is the difference between a daylily and an oriental lily or regular lily? Well, there is a difference between the lilies and the daylilies. They are of different genera and have different characteristics. Lilies, for example, grow from bulbs, while daylilies grow from roots. In my garden, Catherine's garden, I have both daylilies and lilies, specifically oriental lilies. Oriental lilies are known for their fragrant perfume, blooming mid to late summer. Stargazer lilies and Casablanca lilies like this one or these type of oriental lilies are easy to grow and do best in full sun. They have a fast growth rate and should be planted in full sun in well-drained, loamy and sandy soil. But for some reason, this year they are not as full and vibrant as they have been in the past, but yet they are very, very beautiful. Once the bulbs bloom, we are going to keep them moderately moist, and when the blooms are spent, we're going to cut off the flower stalks, but allow foliage to remain. Oriental lilies, especially Casablanca lilies, are a wonderful addition to the garden. They make perfect wedding bouquets for a bride or to be given as a congratulatory gift to a person who has recently experienced a new milestone in their life. Oriental lilies symbolize purity and rebirth. Lilies can remind you of all those qualities in the world around you and people that surround you. The mysterious scent of lilies reminds one to be noble and kind, but also to respect the same values in others. Here in the garden, the Oriental lilies are opening up at this time. Now these Casablanca lilies I had placed in the ground about 5 or 6 years ago. I got them from Costco too. And each year they have gotten larger and larger, taller and taller. And the blooms have been very huge and beautiful. But for some reason this year the blooms are small. And it's not as fragrant as it usually is. It seemed like a lot of the bulbs that were already in the ground, my lily bulbs, did not necessarily bloom well, or they seemed like the buds had some sort of difficulty in blooming. They were smaller in size, and some of them seems like they rotted quickly. Now these lilies here to me are a relative to the Casablanca, and usually these blooms are much larger also, but yet they're looking very attractive here in the garden. They're much more fragrant than the others. I am still thankful for them. So in the front garden here I have these lilies here. This is an Oriental lily, the Casablanca. As you can see, the tips here have dried out and the blooms are very small. Whereas last year it was a good size. And then here is the other one, the cousin to it, and these blooms too are very small, and they also look like they're drying out too. So I don't know if there's something about this year and the fact that we didn't really have a lot of snow and it wasn't really that cold in the winter that affected the bulbs. But that's what it looks like there. And here is the garden, my urban cottage garden or city garden here. And everything is just coming in very nicely. You can see the bees loving the echinacea and the moths. The garden here is just filled with bees, all types of beneficial insects. Just love this urban garden. I especially love these coneflowers this year. They have definitely increased in number and are looking fantastic here in the garden. I love the soft pink with the beautiful cone heads there on top.
I love gardening because when you get a plant or a special flower, after a while you become attached to it. And so when they don't come up, or if they don't come up the way that you anticipated that they will show up, then you kind of feel it, you know. You wonder, well, what happened? How can you improve it? And, you know, there are times when you just have to let things go. It didn't work this year, but maybe next year it will if given extra care. And so that's what gardening is about, and that's what happens in life. Sometimes things work out, and sometimes they don't, but we have to know how to move and flow with every situation. So yeah, so that's the garden. But you know, we have to be willing to see the beauty in the garden and appreciate what we do have, and let go of the things that we have no control over. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your presence here with me.
The butterfly bush, or buddleia, is a beautiful, fast-growing, deciduous shrub with masses of blossoms, long spiked tresses that bloom from summer to autumn. And I grew this, or planted it, about 3 or 4 years ago, and now it has grown up into this beautiful shrub. I'm trying to create it like a tree, so I removed the branches from the stem, the main stem, and now the hummingbirds and the butterflies love it. Do you see that hummingbird there in the plant? Yes, in the tress. The butterflies and the hummingbirds really enjoy the butterfly bush, so I'm so thankful that I planted it in my garden.
Well, if you like this video, then like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. How is your garden growing? I hope things are going well with you. And if you have not subscribed to Catherine's Garden, come on and subscribe and be a part of my journey. My garden is my therapy. It's my joy. And here I am able to relax and to meditate and to think. And thank you for watching, and see you next time in Catherine's Garden. Bye.